r/AskReddit tasks. What's the most disrespectful thing a guest ever did in your home? Please like and subscribe to support this channel. Thank you. My sister used to stop over, drink my beer, steal my wife's clothes, make a mess, then leave. We changed the locks so she'd steal my parents' key to get in, so we stopped giving them one, and somehow she'd still get in, like a damn cockroach. We have since moved far out of her visiting range. My brother used to do this. He would eat all of my food, clog my toilet with his massive, and then veg out on the couch for hours playing Call of Duty on my PS3. Talking to him about it did nothing. I eventually just had to change my locks, and he started doing the same thing to my poor mom. I had a giant bucket of random assorted Legos as a kid. One of my friends peed in it at a sleepover one night, and let me tell you, you don't really notice it at first until it gets real pungent, and by then, it's too late. Never found out who did it to this day, but I have my suspicions. I had a similar thing happen, a giant bucket of Legos. I was in middle school. My younger brother and some of his idiot friends stole a bottle of alcohol from my parents. One of them ended up puking their guts out into the Lego bucket. It might have been the brother. In any case, I consider that the end of my childhood. The stink wouldn't come out, and I was pretty much done with childhood toys after that point. She invited along her boyfriend of 1 week, without asking if it was alright first, who proceeded to get stupidly drunk and throw up all over the back deck. He cut his ankle open while thrashing about and started dripping blood everywhere. As I was trying to put a band-aid on him, the girlfriend had the audacity to tell me he doesn't like band-aids. I said, "Tough," and put it on him anyway, and the rest of us angrily waited for his brother to come to pick the two up. Cut their toenails in my living room. They were just visiting for a few hours. Oh man, my friend hosted a sleepover for some friends, and one of the guests apologized for their feet because they'd just done one of those baby feet things, and the soles of their feet were peeling everywhere. Only after we were like, maybe put some socks on so you don't leave a trail of dead skin everywhere? Did she do something about it? I had a party years ago at my house, lots of people. A guy I didn't know was completely water vomiting everywhere, and I had to clean it up. The next morning I got up and started cleaning up from the party, and out of a bedroom walks this guy. He spoke to the people he knew, and I noticed his shirt. I commented on it, how I had the same one. He laughed and said yay, whatever, and left. It took me a few days to realize that he puked all over his clothes, so he helped himself to shorts and a nice button-up shirt out of my closet. Been at least 15 years ago, and it still bothers me. Me and my fiance allowed this girl who was my friend at the time, and a guy she was hanging out with. The guy was blind from diabetes, so we were basically helping them. The guy was very nice and respectful, no issues with him. The girl, however, I caught her trying to steal our money, and trying to steal the blind guy's money. Also, she would wear my clothes, which is fine, but the tank tops and the short shorts with no underwear and bra, and would be proud of it around me and my fiance. But in the end, after we sent them back home, she came back and said my fiance made her uncomfortable, but yet was able to be almost naked around him and try and steal our stuff? She ate half a cake and a bunch of ice cream, washed it all down with wine, and then barfed the entire thing on my bedspread while crying that nobody liked her. The party was for her, as she was feeling lonely and complaining nobody wanted to hang around with her, so I had invited her and 4 others over for dinner and dessert. Self-fulfilling prophecy, really. They drank some of my very, very expensive limited whiskey I collected in Japan. Then, while still intoxicated, decided it was a good idea to apologize and pour it back into the bottle. After pouring a glass, mixed with Pepsi Max, he walked in and started drinking my alcohol from my bar cart. He changed his pants in the middle of the living room, so I walked right into that. He kept trying to get me to show him around the house and lingered upstairs near bedrooms. By the time he said he was a former HVAC repairman and could look at my air conditioning unit, which was on the fritz, he was face drunk, which I didn't realize until after he had the entire unit apart on my basement floor and admitted he couldn't put it back together. I had just met this person like 3 hours prior. He was a friend of a friend visiting from out of town, and I ended up alone with him for a bit when my friend had to step out to take care of a family situation. I gingerly led him out of the house and left him with my friend. He did end up buying me the parts to fix the AC unit plus a brand new DeWalt impact driver the next morning and leaving it with my friend as an apology. An old childhood friend of my boyfriend's came and crashed at our house. After my boyfriend went to bed, this guy basically accused me of trapping my guy into a life that didn't suit him. Like, dude, you haven't seen nor spoken to each other in over a decade, and now you show up needing a couch to crash on and come at me with that? Such disrespect. Anyway, that was probably a dozen years ago and the boyfriend is now my husband of nearly 10 years, so Jesse can go himself. I invited a Tinder match over to hook up with. I informed her before that I had an appointment at 7 a.m. that I had to make. She told me that she understood and was cool with it. The first red flag was that she rolled up to my front door with a suitcase. Weird, but maybe she was catching a flight somewhere the next morning. Turns out we're not compatible within 30 minutes of hooking up. Politely ask her to leave and she refuses. She informs me that she has nowhere else to go, and therefore she was going to stay in my bed until she felt like leaving. No one was home besides me, and I 100% was not going to leave this person in my house while I went to my appointment. Over the course of 4 hours, she exhibited bipolar symptoms and personalities which included threatening me, degrading me, and then apologizing to me. These situations went back and forth consistently. In the end, I had to call the police to get her to leave, and had to file a restraining order against her. I have never had a more bizarre online dating experience. A girl I considered one of my closest friends at the time wanted to crash at mine after night out. We come in, she immediately lies on the couch and starts fake sleeping. Like, within actual seconds. I poke her, give her a shake, she does nothing. It's very clear she was pretending, and I was too drunk to care, so I went to bed. This girl was well known for fake fainting and falling for attention, and I couldn't be bothered to entertain it. Shortly after, she took 30 pounds from my bag, 50 pounds from my mom's bag, some heirloom family earrings and also the lipstick I'd been wearing that night for some reason. The worst part was she climbed out of the window, leaving it wide open for my inside cat to be able to get out. We found the cat later that day, but I'd never felt rage like it. When I messaged her asking what the she was playing at, she accused my mom of doing it as she'd had a single glass of wine earlier in the evening. It sucked, but it taught me a huge lesson as it made me realize that I was picking bad friends. She took her pants off because she was having abdominal pain after knowingly having dairy products, despite being extremely lactose intolerant. She wandered around our tiny house in her undies, grunting and groaning while my wife and I awkwardly sat on our couch. A few hours later, she then ate an apple, but instead of swallowing the apple bits, she spat them out into a bag because she didn't want to consume the sugar. We don't really talk anymore, and that was the last time she ever came to my house. My brother's girlfriend got into my lingerie, wore it while having with my brother in my bed, then put it right back in the drawer. She also turned the heater off on my waterbed. Granted, I let them sleep in my room, that didn't mean the rest was okay. They also stained the heck out of my satin sheets and didn't bother to take them off and wash them. There's no way I would even consider having, in a home where I'm a guest, much less get into someone's lingerie, soil it, then put it back with clean clothing. Had I done something like that, which I would never do, I would at least toss the sheets in the wash. I would rather wash the bedding and let them assume, instead of leaving the nasty mess, in which case they think I'm a trashy person. Anyone's home I stay in, I would automatically toss the bedding in the washer out of respect for my host allowing me to crash. In that case, if I did have in their bed, which I wouldn't, They wouldn't know because I'm washing sheets for the next guest. Just a trashy, bad thing to do. I have a 20-pound dog that likes greeting people. Even on his tippy toes, he only reaches knee height on adults. A friend of mine came over to my house one day and, when greeted by my dog, grabbed him by the neck and shoved him into the ground and held him there to calm him down. No, the friend is not afraid of dogs. This wasn't their first time meeting, and my dog wasn't jumping or barking. I don't know what made this person think this was appropriate behavior. You should have grabbed him by the neck and yelled, "Calm down yourself." I threw a party at my house one time. One of my friends got stupidly drunk, confessed his love to another one of our friends, then passed out drunk on the couch. Then a few hours later, he woke up in a drunken stupor and proceeded to the fridge. He opened the bottom drawer and looked at it for a moment, then proceeded to whip out his peen and pee into the bottom drawer of my mother-ducking fridge. Not only did he pee in the fridge, but he opened the drawer so that it was all nice and collected. He then proceeded to put back his peen and fall promptly asleep as if nothing happened. He got to wake up the next morning and clean out his prior mess. But still, the man peed in my fridge. He never is going to be able to live that down. When I was a kid, my mom and dad had a big barbecue at our house. About 20 couples showed up, no kids. Sometime during the night, one of the guests used 2 hand towels in the bathroom to wipe their butt after pooping instead of the toilet paper and hid the towels under the sink. I discovered this because we were cleaning the house the next day, and I went to grab some cleaning supplies from under the sink. Soon as I opened the cabinet doors, the stink hit me. Behind the Windex and the surface cleaner bottles, was the 2 hand towels covered in poop. We threw both in the trash right away. We have no idea which guest did it or why. I have 2. First, my uncle came from another state because he was having trouble with his wife and had nowhere else to go, so he came to my dad. Yeah, okay, sounds good, he's family, I get it. For the next few months, he proceeds to never pick up after himself, steals my headphones and never gave them back, doesn't clean his dishes, takes almost a week on end for him to do the laundry, and at one point, my dad had to tell him to get his stuff out of the laundry because he needed to do some, doesn't close his mouth when he's chewing and slurps his food. I swear by the end of the month I wanted to uppercut him harder than Mike Tyson. He asked me if he could borrow my car for a bit. I'm like sure. Takes it all the way to the next state going 100 miles per hour, comes back, leaves trash in, clothes in it, does not fill the car at all, the trunk is broken because he slammed it super hard for some reason, so now you have to push it down with some extra force. I tried telling my dad like, bro, could you tell your brother to be a little more courteous to stuff he borrows? And he basically just told me to shut the F up. The second is I had this friend in college that whenever would come and hang he would use the bathroom and wouldn't flush. The first couple of times I let it slide because I thought, well, honest mistake. Then it happened a third time, and a fourth, and a seventh, and every time I brought it up, he played dumb, and this was at a college house, not the hometown one. So finally, it happened to my roommate, and we both told him, dude, if you're going to come over, you need to start flushing your poop, literally, and he never came over again, which was good for us. I lived on the parade route in New Orleans. A friend got wasted, picked up a drunk girl who fell in dog poop because she wore heels to a damn parade, and proceeded to have loud with her on my couch and got poo all over it. Oh yeah, he also brought his girlfriend with him. She stayed in my and my wife's bedroom and cried while he cheated on her in the next room. He's a federal judge now. During a party, they went into my freezer, took 2 packages of frozen peas, said these are mine out loud, and tried to walk out with them. When I called them out on it, they acted like I was the butthole. Who the heck goes to a party and thinks to themselves, ah yes, I'll steal their peas? My younger brother went out clubbing a few years ago with a friend on a Saturday night. The friend was going to crash on the downstairs sofa when they got back. They came back around 2 a.m., obviously very drunk. That kind of drunk where you try and be quiet but fail miserably. This obviously woke me, but I figure, hey, It's a Saturday night, they've obviously had a good time, whatever. Then I heard multiple people come up the stairs, and then I heard a female voice. Okay, so my brother has brought home a girl. Not cool. My parents have always had the rule that you need permission to bring someone home. My mother's phone is always by her, and she would rather you text at a ridiculous time and ask permission than just bring them over. Shake my head at my brother's silliness, but maybe he can sneak her out tomorrow and get away with it. I hear the bed start to creak. And then the loud female moaning joins in. I'm talking fake prawn levels of moaning. I'm mixed, between being annoyed that my sleep has been interrupted / the disrespect she's giving the rest of the people in the house, and the humor of how badly my brother is going to be murdered. They somehow managed to get through the act without my parents coming to his door. Then I hear his door open. I assume one of them is going to the bathroom. I hear another door open. Again, I assume this is the bathroom door. A pause. And then oh sorry. In a female voice before running footsteps to my brother's room. This girl had tried to go to the bathroom, entered my parents' bedroom by mistake and turned the light on. My mother is beyond angry. She and my dad had heard them but had decided they would deal with my brother and the girl in the morning. But oh no, mother is going for blood now. So she barges her way down the hallway and into my brother's bedroom to start tearing him a new one. Remember how I said earlier that my brother had gone out with a friend, who was meant to be crashing downstairs on the sofa? He was in the bed too. My younger brother had his first threesome with one of his best guy friends and a random girl from a club and got caught. As the screaming match starts between my mother and brother, I have slipped out of my room to use the bathroom. When I exit to go back to bed, my mother is just leaving my brother's bedroom. She sees my outline exit the bathroom and starts screaming at me, telling me and the two guests to get the heck out of her house. Me, Mom, it's me mother, oh sorry, I thought you were another girl. She kicked the friend out, banned him from the house, and then called a taxi to get the drunk girl home. She's still a good human being. My parents have never let my brother forget it. But he wasn't allowed to bring home a girl, even if he asked permission, for over a year. Thanks for listening to Nebulosa TTS. Please like and subscribe to support this channel. Thank you.